YouTube video. This is very nerve-wracking, like filming myself, but you know what, it's fine. In this video I wanted to attempt to make Channel Orange by frankocean, but as a K-pop album with all the, you know, fun inclusions that you would find in one, like not changing what it sounds like because I don't know how to make music, but physically packaging it in the way that K-pop albums are packaged, if that makes sense. It'll make more sense as you watch the video. But yeah, I wanted my first video to be about this album because I love it so much. It's just so beautiful. Like sonically, it's so well produced, it's really well written. Like every single song, it's like you're introduced to a new character, and like at the core of the album, it's all about love and like the complex feelings behind that concept. And like clearly Frank is talking about like a relationship he had and like the struggles he faces trying to like move on from that relationship. And like he deals with themes of like attachment, themes of longing, themes of wanting someone. Yeah, it's just a really good album. I feel like everybody's listened to it, and that's why I wanted to make a video on it, because I feel like this is a very like insanely popular album, but for a reason, because it's pretty well written. It's just impeccable. Yeah, I think the production in particular like exemplifies the theme of like TV and nostalgia, and that's why I want the packaging to link to that specifically. When I think of TV and film, I think of like DVDs, I think of like VHS tapes where you can record film or movies or TV shows and just keep them and watch them whenever you want, or like even home videos. You can record home videos on VHS tapes or CDs. So I wanted the packaging to definitely either link to DVDs or VHS tapes, but I thought VHS tapes was a little bit more like creative. Seeing as like the actual album cover is already so basic, I wanted to do something a little bit more adventurous than just like a DVD. And after doing some research, I found two K-pop albums that I thought, like, I liked the packaging design a lot, and I thought I could like take inspiration from, and that was Gasoline by Key and Pink Tape by FX. So yeah, and they do look different, and like they're assembled differently, but they do have like that VHS tape concept at the core of like the packaging design. Now that I've explained the video concept, let's get into it. Firstly, I made a mood board identifying the fonts I'll use on the original cover, because it's quite simple. It literally just says orange background, channel, written in Cooper Black, and then the orange part written in a monotype typeface. So I wanted to like include that obviously in the album redesign. I didn't really want to change what the album cover itself looks like. I like it. I think it's basic, it's simple, but it works for the album. And then I identified what I wanted to include in the album. So I wanted to include a poster, because that you see that a lot in K-pop albums. I wanted to include a photo card, maybe. I wanted to include like a lyric booklet, and I also wanted to include a sticker sheet, because why not? But yes, and then I simply just added pictures that I could draw inspiration from, mostly linking to VHS tapes, because I wanted the album to look like it was a VHS tape, you know, packaging. That is what the concept is. I found an example of a VHS tape cover online, and I identified elements from it that I wanted to include on the album, so that it wouldn't look, you know, as basic. Obviously the original cover is very like minimalist, but I wanted this packaging to at least have some of those elements to make it like more visually appealing. So I started making the front cover, just adding all the elements that I wanted from the example I found onto the cover, so it looks very similar to what the original looked like. I didn't add the glitter over channel, which you can see on like the original cover, but I don't know, I wanted it to be more minimalist. I feel like compared to 2012 when the album was released, like design is a lot more like flat and minimal now. That's why I didn't want to include it, but I do like it. I think it's nice, but I was just like, I feel like if I just kept it in white and then like overlay the glitter, it would look cooler. And then I started making the back cover, adding all the track list names and some legal information that I found online. Speaking of track list names, I want to talk about my favorite songs from this album. I mean, I've already said that I love this album a lot. I don't think I have like a number one album, because I feel like I haven't listened to enough music to determine what my favorite album of all time is. But this album is most definitely on my top 10 list. It's just so good. And I want to talk about my favorite songs from the album. I would say like my favorite song is definitely Thinking About You, which like is a very, very popular song from this album, like, but it's just so good. It's so soulful, it's so emotional. Like his voice just like evokes the feeling of longing, of regret, of like reminiscing. It's beautiful. Like it's just such a beautiful R&B song, and there's a reason why it's so popular. And then it's difficult to pick, like, because I genuinely love all the songs in this album. I mean, there's some songs that are just like instrumental based, but from start to finish, this is a non-skip album for me. Like, I love Bad Religion, I love Pyramids, the second half of Pyramids, like when it slows down into like a classic R&B song, so good. And I love Pink Matter, I love Sweet Life. But I would say that my second favorite song after Thinking About You is, drumroll please, I would say that it's Pyramids. I love that song a lot. It's long as fuck, but it's a great song, and it's so well produced, and like transitions from the first half to the second half really well. And then my third favorite song is Sweet Life. It's just an amazing song, and it's just I feel like it really evokes summer, which this album just has a summer feel to it anyway, you know. And I think it just links to the idea of seeing things in an orange lens and through an orange lens, and like nostalgia and just reminiscing on good times. And then I was on to making the inclusions, and the first thing I made was a lyric sheet. And I wish I made a scissor SOS lyric sheet before, so I just used that as a template now. So I just changed the colors to that classic orange color that was used on the album, and then I added on the back cover of the lyric sheet, I added all the track list names, some legal information, just basic things to make it look more like a lyric booklet. After making the lyric booklet, I decided to make a poster, and I used, this was so long, but I got all the Spotify codes for all the song, all the tracks in the album, and then I just put that on a poster with channel orange on top, arranged all the codes, and then put some information at the bottom, and I thought the poster looked really cool at the end of it. I was really happy with it. Yeah, it's simple and basic, but like I would put that poster, I can print it up and I can put it on my wall. It's cute, I like it. I then decided to make some stickers to include in the album, because I wanted to make a sticker sheet. And then the first sticker I made is just a picture of Frank, but like I edited it to make it look like higher contrast, and then I also just added a glitter texture, like overlaid it, because I wanted it to, I didn't include the glitter over the channel part originally for the cover, but I wanted to include this for the sticker. I thought that would be a cool way to like add that element back. And then for the second sticker, it was just another image of Frank from that era, but I added like a halftone texture to it to make it look cooler, like almost like a drawing. And then the third sticker I added was a car, because I felt like the car definitely linked to the album and like themes in the album. So I just did that. I did like a halftone texture onto it to make it look cooler and also to link to like nostalgia, which this whole album definitely is, you know, it's about nostalgia and reminiscing. And then I did like a really simple illustration of a TV, and I drew that, and then I added another halftone texture on top of it, again because just to make it look nostalgic and just to make it more interesting and cool, because the original illustration was really basic. But yes, those were the stickers, and I just assembled them all together and added it. I assembled them together and then I made a sticker sheet and I added his signature like at the bottom of it. Yes. Now that I'd made all the elements I wanted to include in the album, it was time to do some mock-ups so I could see what the full vision was, and so it's easier to like show people like, this is what the concept of the album is. So I found a picture of Key's Gasoline album and of like how it was laid out, and then I wanted to replicate the packaging. So I just did that by literally just copying the shapes that were on the album and then going on Procreate and adding shading on like the individual shapes to make it look more like it was a 3D object, not just flat shapes, if that makes sense. And then I edited the colors, made it gray, and then I added a CD it was a very simple CD mock-up, and then I just added that onto the packaging. I wanted the album packaging to look like it was like a book opening, and then inside would be the CD and the inclusions. But like it's not a book, it's a VHS tape box, if that makes sense. So then I found this image online and then I edited it. I just put the cover and the spine that I made for the cover, and then I just distorted it to fit over the image so it looked like a real product, so you can really see what I was envisioning, if that makes sense. I then did the same for the lyric booklet. So the original lyric booklet that I made, I just dragged the images in and then distorted it to make it fit over the mock-up that I found online. And now it's time for the fun bit, assembling everything together and showing what the full album would look like if it was a K-pop album with all the fun inclusions. So I added the mock-up of the VHS tape design, and then I added the poster, I added the photo cards because I wanted to include photo cards, just pictures of Frank, and then I added the sticker sheet, I added the lyric booklet and the mock-up that I made for the lyric booklet, and then everything just came together and voila. So yes, I think overall I'm very happy with how this album design turned out. I think it looks really nice, and I think it's minimalist, but it works for the album and what the original like cover design looked like anyway. But I think the next video I do, I'm gonna do a different album. I want it to be like more extravagant. I want it to be more creative than this, because I feel like I can do something that is more like, wow, like, you know, maybe I could do, because one of my other favorite albums besides this one are definitely like the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I love the Emancipation of Mimi by Mariah Carey. What other albums do I love? There's lots of albums that I love. and I feel like those ones I could really have fun with what it looks like, what the album looks like visually, because there's quite a lot of, I can find lots of images to like source inspiration from. But yes, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video, and I hope it was kind of entertaining. I was really nervous while filming this whole video, but you know, I'm happy with the final product, and I'm also excited to like try to design other albums that I love in this way, like as a K-pop album. I feel like it's a cool concept because I love K-pop, but I also like albums that, you know, from Western artists as well. Yeah, thank you for watching again, and goodbye.